Hello everyone, welcome to Fire and Hammer Evangelism Ministry. It is wonderful to have you here today, whether you are a subscriber or a first-time visitor. Just a quick word about the proper ways of doing evangelism. There are ways illustrated and exemplified in Scripture, and there are ways that man has come up with, all by his own devices. The biblical ways that we see, the examples of the Old and the New Testament both, are one of two ways. Either a long-term, repeat presentation of God's message to the people where you already locally are, or a liquidating of your possessions and moving away to a new place to stay there, preach the gospel, and to teach any new believers who are saved through the message. Those are the biblical ways. Jeremiah, Ezekiel. In the New Testament, Paul, of course. The 70 who Jesus sent out, they stayed in the towns where the gospel was received. Where the gospel was not received, they moved on to a new town. So these are the ways that we should be doing it. We should be following the example of Scripture. Now there is another way, a way that I call the drive-by gospel, or the hit-and-run gospel. There are people out there who think quite highly of themselves if they take a trip, 3 or 4 hour car drive away to some city that they would never otherwise go to, stand on a street corner and preach a message, biblically accurate and gospel true, though that message may be, preach over passing by crowds, and at the end of the day, they pack up their Bibles and their loudspeakers and they go back to the comfort of their own home. Now, think about it. This is somewhat akin to, say, a firefighter who believes in putting out fires and saving lives. If he knows that there is a fire 100 miles away, he jumps in his car, he drives there, he might even run into the burning house and shout, "Get out, get out, you're in danger." And then just as soon as he's done, he drives back home to the comfort of his own home. Now the people in that house, to continue the parallel to the gospel, if they did not believe that their house was on fire, they stayed in there and burned to death. If they did believe the gospel, they ran out into the street, they lived, but they had no one to help them, no one to set them up in a hotel, no one to provide any resources for them. They were simply burned out of their house, though they themselves were still alive, but they were abandoned by that fireman. Or if we might look at it another way, if we go to a dirty, polluted stream and we pull out a fish who is, of course, in danger of being killed by the pollution in the water, do we want to simply throw that fish onto dry land and leave it, or put it into clean water and provide it with an environment and with food? So you see, this is what these people are doing. They think they're doing something great. And yes, God can and God will save people even through this style of delivering a message. But what if he does? Do you stay there? Do you disciple those people the way Scripture tells you to? Do you say, someone believed the gospel, they are a Christian now, but they are a baby Christian and they need to be protected and taught, so I will give up everything back at home and I will move here and I will become this person's teacher? No, they just say pretty much, "Congratulations, it's wonderful that you believe, see you in heaven someday, good luck to you, I'm out of here," and they go back home. This is wrong, people. This is not how the Bible shows us to do it. So no drive-by gospel, no hit-and-run gospel. You must preach the gospel so that God can use the message to save sinners. But do it often, right where He has already placed you. Or pack up everything you own and move to a new town and then start doing it there. But do not think you are doing God any favors by traveling off somewhere, preaching the gospel for an hour or two, and then going back home. What? Do you think God has no Christians in that city who He can use to do His preaching for Him? Or have you run out of sinners in your own hometown to preach to? Get back in focus, Christians. Preach the gospel, but do it the way the Bible has shown us to do it. That's all that I have for today. So I'll see you again here very soon, and I hope that in the meantime you are faithfully broadcasting the message of salvation wherever you are. Have a wonderful day.